So hey you, and welcome to my channel. Now in this video we're going to be talking all about blurry backgrounds. Now I'm going to be sharing with you guys the tips, the tricks, the theories behind having a blurry background, what you need to do and what you need to not do in order to get like a blurry background. This just gives like a little bit of professionalism. It makes you stand out and it makes the videos look really crisp when recording. Now if you're someone that films whether on your camera or on your mobile phone, I'm going to be showing you guys how and what you need to do in order to get a blurry background. So if you've been struggling, then don't worry, chill, I got you. Now all you need to do is to keep on watching. Alright guys, so now let's just get started. Now in order to have a blurry background, there are 3 key foundations to having that. Now the first point depends on how low the aperture or the f-stop the lens you're using is. The second one also depends on the focal length of your lens, and the third one depends on the distance between you, the subject, and the background. Now I'm going to be putting all these theories into practice so that you guys can really understand what I'm talking about. But just to kind of explain it to you guys before we start practicalizing, the first one being the aperture of your lens or the f-stop, whatever you want to call it. This plays the major role in having a blurry background. Now, the lower the f-stop is, the more blurry your background is going to be. The higher the f-stop is, the less blurry your background is going to be. So if you want to have a blurry background, look for a lens that is probably between 2.8 downwards. So 2.8, 2.0, 1.8, which is a very popular lens. This lens right here, this is the Yongnuo 50mm 1.8 lens. 1.8, 1.4, what I'm currently filming on is Sigma 30mm 1.4 lens, 1.2 lens. However, the lower you get with f-stop, the kind of more expensive it is. But if you're starting off and you want to achieve a blurry background on a budget, the best lens for you to get, obviously everyone, their daddies, their granddaddies, every professional photographer or videographer would recommend you have a 50mm 1.8 lens. It's the best beginner-friendly lens on a very small budget, right? It's amazing. So if you want to also get like this one, I have the Sigma 30mm 1.4 lens. So the lower your f-stop, the more blurry the background is. The higher the f-stop, the less blurry the background is, right? Okay guys, so I wanted to apply the same theory in a different background so that you guys can still further understand it. 1.8, the f-stop is really low, but let me just take my f-stop down to about 4. We can see that, yeah, it's gonna get dark. Let me increase my ISO to 400. This is what we're looking like. Compare how blurry the background is now, okay? Compare this to this. I don't know if you guys can see that the bokeh is really pronounced. It is bubbly, it's a bit wider and kind of has like depth to it, right? So that's the difference between the f-stop. So the lower the f-stop is, the more blurry the background is going to be. However, it doesn't always solely depend on the f-stop, but the f-stop makes a huge difference. Now another factor to consider is the focal length. In terms of the focal length, we're talking about how wide or how tight the lens is. So in this case, this is a 30mm lens. It's not too wide, it's not too tight. It's somewhere in between the middle. Now, the tighter it is, if I'm moving upwards, if I'm going towards like a 50mm, 85mm, 100mm, the higher it is, the more blurry the background is going to be. Right? The lower it is, the less blurry the background is going to be. I'm going to show you guys exactly what we're talking about. Now, the third one being the distance between you, that's you, the subject, and the background, right? So, the farther away you are from the background, the more blurry it is, right? If I move even closer to you guys, the background is going to be way more blurry. Let me show you guys that. Okay, can we see how the background looks blurry? It looks way more blurry, right? So if I were to move closer to the background, it's going to be less blurry. Can we see that? You probably can see everything going on behind. So if I'm to stay away, typically when I'm advising someone or I'm advising people, I usually say make sure that your hands cannot touch the wall or the background. So in this case, my hands cannot touch it. I don't know if you guys can see. So that way you're giving yourself some sort of distance away from the background. So I want to switch up my lenses to show you guys exactly what we're talking about in terms of aperture, in terms of the focal length we're talking about. Again, this is a Sigma 30mm 1.4 lens. This is how blurry the background is, and this is the focal length. Again, notice I'm not going to change my setup. The only thing I'm going to change is the lens so that you guys can see the difference and exactly put the theory into practice. So let me switch up the lens so that you guys can see this properly. Hey guys, so now it looks like, or it feels like I'm a lot closer to the camera, which I'm not. Again, the same distance, only thing I changed was the lens. I'm filming with the Yongnuo 50mm 1.8 lens, and this lens is a 50mm lens compared to this one that is a 30mm lens. The lower the focal length, the wider the background is going to be. But the good thing about using a tight lens is that it makes the background even more blurry. I don't know if you guys can see the difference between this lens and the other lens. Even though the aperture on this one was lower, this one gives a more blurry background because the focal length is tighter. Again, the distance, I'm like arm's length away from the background, so I can't even touch the back. Again, let me move back so you guys can see. This is how blurry the background is. You can't even see what is behind me, right? You don't even know what's behind me. Let me move back. Can we see the theory into practice, right? This again is a 50mm lens. This is it right here. You guys can see that it's not blurry, it's struggling, it's not there. But when I stay far away from it, okay, let's move far away from it, we can see that it is getting out of focus. And the further I am from it, you can see that it's just becoming really blurry, and the bokeh is like really blurry and the background becomes like really bubbly. So that's basically it. So yeah. Okay guys, so I hope that was insightful. So what I want to do now is to switch over to my camera, because I know that a lot of us record now on our mobile phone, but again, it's still the same theory. Let me just open up my camera so that we can see this. There we go. Okay. Again, using the same theory we just talked about, the closer I am to the lens and the farther I am from the background, the more blurry it's going to be. However, when I move backwards to the lens, to the background, I can't touch the background again, same distance. So when I move backwards, you guys can definitely see everything that's, you know, going on here. It's less blurry and it's not professional. So if you want to be filming with your mobile phone, also put these theories into practice. Stay away from the background as much as possible. Again, arm's length is always the ideal way to start off with, depending on the space you have to work with. But this is it again. If I move closer, the background is going to be even more blurry, right? Right? So ideally, make sure your hand can't touch your background, so that way it gives you like a little bit of depth while recording. All right, so I hope this was helpful. I love making content like this. I've had a couple of questions regarding like how to get a blurry background, on your mobile phone. So yeah, if you're still having problems with having a blurry background, watch this video over and over again so that way you can get a hang of it. But this is basically how to get a blurry background. Those three theories, put it into practice. Get a lens that has a low f-stop, ideally the 50mm 1.8 lens. Get space, be far away from the background, and the focal length should be quite decent, like at least 30, between 30, 50, 85, 100, and that way it keeps you in focus and keeps the background out of focus, creates depth. So yeah, if you guys found this video helpful, definitely give me a thumbs up, subscribe, check out my other videos on filming, starting off a YouTube channel, as well as creating your own background and your own YouTube setup on a budget. I'll definitely see you guys in one of these videos. Subscribe to my channel again, it is free, and I can't wait to see you guys in my other videos, as well as my next video. So yeah, let's go. Pick one, choose one. pick one.